Fans can be loyal, but even they have their breaking point. We all know they'll stick with their bands through terrible haircuts, questionable album covers, and even worse fashion choices. But sometimes, just sometimes, a band releases a song so shocking that it splits their fan base right down the middle. Today, we're here to talk about those moments when our heroes let us down. These are the 10 rock songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that made fans absolutely furious. So grab a pint, turn up the volume, and let's take a walk down memory lane of rock's most controversial moments. Plus, we've got a bonus track so divisive, some fans didn't know whether to love it or throw their albums across the room. Number 10. 4 guys in makeup and platform boots turned every concert into a circus. Fire-breathing, blood-spitting legends who taught an entire generation that rock and roll was pure spectacle. The most theatrical rock band of the 1970s. Then one day they traded their crushing riffs for a disco beat that belonged in Studio 54. Kiss, I Was Made for Loving You, from 1979. When the band that gave you Detroit Rock City suddenly sounds like they're auditioning for Saturday Night Fever, something's gone terribly wrong. The song had a 4-on-the-floor disco beat, synthesizers, and Paul Stanley singing like he'd been taking lessons from the Bee Gees. The timing couldn't have been worse. This was right after Disco Demolition Night at Comiskey Park. Where thousands of disco records got blown up in center field. Rock fans were at war with disco, and here were Kiss waving the white flag. Fan reaction was brutal. Rock magazines were flooded with angry letters calling the band sellouts. Some fans actually burned their Kiss merchandise in record store parking lots. Number 9. What happens when a British-American group, fresh off releasing one of the best-selling albums in rock history, decides to completely abandon everything that made them superstars? Perfect pop-rock harmonies and pristine production get thrown out the window. Instead, the guitarist recruits a college marching band and goes full experimental. Fleetwood Mac, Tusk, 1979. You've just bought the follow-up to Rumors, expecting more of those perfect songs that made you fall in love with Fleetwood Mac. Instead, you get Tusk. Lindsey Buckingham had been listening to too much Talking Heads and decided Fleetwood Mac needed to go experimental. The song featured the USC Trojan Marching Band, travel drumming, and a sound that was about as far away from Go Your Own Way as you could get. After the pristine production of Rumors, Tusk sounded like it was recorded in someone's garage during an earthquake. The whole album split the fan base permanently. Some fans appreciated Buckingham's artistic courage. Others felt like he'd hijacked their favorite band for his personal art project. Number 8. Here's a group that pioneered jazz rock fusion in the late 60s. Sophisticated horn sections, complex arrangements, musicians who could actually play their instruments and weren't afraid to show it. Then the 1980s arrived, and they decided to ditch everything that made them unique for the most generic power ballad money could buy. Chicago. Hard to Say I'm Sorry, 1982. It's hard for me to say I'm sorry. Chicago had been musicians, the kind of band that made other groups jealous of their chops. Then 1982 rolled around, and they released this track. Gone were the complex horn arrangements that had defined their sound for over a decade. Gone were the jazz influences that made them unique. Instead, we got a generic power ballad that could have been recorded by any arena rock band with a decent singer and a synthesizer. After all that we've been through. This was the band that had given us 25 or 6 to 4 and Saturday in the Park. songs that showcased real musical talent. Jazz rock fans felt betrayed. The song hit number 1, which only made things worse.
I just want you to stay.
Number 7. Two sisters proved that women could deliver crushing riffs and powerful vocals in a male-dominated industry. The hardest-rocking female-fronted band of the 1970s had fought against sexism and won respect through pure musical power. Then they hand lead vocals to the sister who'd been playing keyboards and go full-on synth-pop. Heart, These Dreams, 1985.
These dreams go on when I close my eyes.
Heart was different. Ann and Nancy Wilson had proven that women could rock just as hard as anyone. Barracuda was a crushing anthem. Crazy on You showed they could be both powerful and sensual. Then came These Dreams, and everything changed. Nancy Wilson took lead vocals because Ann was battling a cold, giving the song a soft, raspy tone. The whole sound shifted. Instead of hard rock power, we got synthesizers, drum machines, and a dreamy ballad.
These dreams that sleep when it's cold outside.
The song became Heart's first number 1 hit, proving that abandoning their rock roots had commercial benefits. But longtime fans felt like they'd lost something important. Concert footage tells the story. When Heart played classics, crowds went wild. When this started, fans headed for the beer stands.
Get up the night, I live another life.
Number 6. Epic rock operas and complex musical arrangements were their specialty. A devoted following built through ambitious concept albums and theatrical performances. Then their lead singer decides the future of rock involves performing in a robot suit while singing through a vocoder about dystopian futures. Styx, Mr. Roboto from 1983.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, domo.
Dennis DeYoung had always been theatrical, but Mr. Roboto was something else entirely. The song was the centerpiece of Kilroy Was Here, Styx rock opera about a dystopian future where rock music was banned.
Domo, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
DeYoung's vocals were processed through a vocoder, making him sound like a malfunctioning robot. The live shows featured him performing in a robot suit that looked like it came from a low-budget sci-fi movie. Fans who came to hear Renegade and Come Sail Away instead got a Broadway show about artificial intelligence. Tommy Shaw, the band's guitarist, was so frustrated with the new direction that he split from the band.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, domo.
Number 5. 20-minute epics about mythical creatures and complex time signatures were their calling card. A British progressive rock band whose concerts featured elaborate costumes and theatrical storytelling that transported audiences to other worlds. Then they released the most radio-friendly pop song of their career, built around a drum machine. Genesis, Invisible Touch, 1986. Genesis had been evolving since Peter Gabriel left in 1975, but Invisible Touch felt like the final betrayal of everything that had made them special. This was the band that had created The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway and Foxtrot, sprawling, ambitious works that challenged listeners. Invisible Touch was built around a drum machine and clocked in at a radio-perfect 4 minutes. Progressive rock fans were devastated. The song hit number 1, proving that dumbing down their sound worked commercially. Fan clubs split into factions. Record stores reported customers trading in their Genesis back catalog, claiming the band was dead to them. Number 4. A British rock band had conquered the world with operatic vocals, crushing guitar riffs, and songs that redefined what rock music could be. Their frontman was a theatrical genius who commanded stages like a rock god. Then they decided to embrace the emerging MTV era with a funk-influenced track that sounded nothing like the band that gave you Bohemian Rhapsody. Queen, Body Language, 1982.
I got a case of body language.
Queen had built their reputation on musical complexity and Freddie Mercury's soaring vocals. Body Language was the opposite, a minimalist funk track with processed vocals and a groove that belonged more in a dance club than a rock arena. The song was built around a simple bass line and drum machine, with Mercury's vocals heavily processed through effects. Gone were the multi-layered harmonies and Brian May's distinctive guitar work that had made Queen unique. Instead, we got 4 minutes of repetitive funk that could have been recorded by any session musicians.
Yeah!
Rock fans were baffled. This was the band that had created We Will Rock You and Somebody to Love, anthems that showcased their incredible range and musical sophistication. Body Language showcased nothing except their willingness to chase the latest trend, and fans noticed immediately. Many felt like their heroes had abandoned everything that made them special for a cheap attempt at disco relevance. Number 3. 4 guys from Birmingham literally invented heavy metal. They gave the world its darkest, heaviest sound and proved that music could be both terrifying and beautiful. A group that had never compromised their vision for commercial success. Then they released a song with Radio literally in the title. Black Sabbath, Am I Going Insane? Radio, 1975. Black Sabbath invented heavy metal. They gave us Paranoid, Iron Man, and War Pigs, songs that defined what dark, heavy music could be. Then they released Am I Going Insane? Radio. The parenthetical radio in the title made their intentions embarrassingly obvious. This was a desperate attempt at radio play, featuring acoustic guitars, gentle vocals from Ozzy, and production that stripped away everything that made Sabbath dangerous. Metal fans were horrified. This was the band that had taught them heavy music could be art. Even the band seemed embarrassed by it, rarely playing it live and eventually disowning it entirely. Number 2. Rock and Roll Rebellion personified, a group that had maintained their dangerous edge through every musical trend and cultural shift. Their lead singer was the embodiment of rock attitude, sneering, confident, and unmistakably masculine. Then he starts singing in falsetto over a disco beat. The Rolling Stones, Emotional Rescue, 1980. The Rolling Stones were Rock and Roll Rebellion personified. They'd given us Satisfaction, Paint It Black, and Gimme Shelter, songs that captured the dangerous spirit of rock music. Then came Emotional Rescue. Mick Jagger sang in falsetto over a disco-influenced track that sounded like it belonged in the same clubs that played the Bee Gees. His voice, which had always embodied rock attitude, was processed and artificial. Longtime fans were appalled. This was their band, the greatest rock and roll group in the world, making disco music? The Stones had always sounded best when slightly out of control. This was safe, predictable, and boring. Number 1. The voice of the folk movement had become the poet of protest, speaking truth to power with nothing but his guitar and his words. An acoustic troubadour his fans saw as pure, authentic, and incorruptible, the symbol of everything that was real about music. Then he walks onto the most sacred stage in folk music, carrying an electric guitar. Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone, electric version, 1965. Like a rolling stone. Dylan's electric performance at the Newport Folk Festival on July 25, 1965, created the most famous controversy in rock music. When he took the stage with an electric band, the audience's reaction was immediate and hostile. Boos rained down from the crowd. Some fans walked out in disgust. Legend has it that Pete Seeger tried to cut Dylan's power cables with an axe. Folk purists felt betrayed. Dylan had abandoned acoustic purity for electric rock. The controversy followed him for years. Fans would shout "Judas" at concerts. What made it so intense was what Dylan represented. He wasn't just a musician, he was a symbol of authenticity. When he went electric, it felt like losing a moral leader. Bonus. The most beloved band in the world had taken the planet by storm with perfect melodies and harmonies that defined an entire generation. 4 lads who had evolved musically while maintaining their essential charm. Then they release 8 minutes of experimental noise with no melody, no rhythm, and one member repeatedly saying the same 2 words. The Beatles, Revolution 9, 1968. John Lennon's fascination with avant-garde art collided with Yoko Ono's experimental influence, producing Revolution 9, an 8-minute sound collage with tape loops, backward recordings, and random effects. Even Paul McCartney reportedly tried to keep it off the White Album. Fans who'd followed the Beatles through every evolution were stunned. Many blamed John, others blamed Yoko, and some just returned their albums thinking the copy was defective. Revolution 9 remains divisive, either groundbreaking art or unlistenable chaos. Who do you blame for this one? John, Yoko, or both? Let us know in the comments. So there you have it, 10 songs that proved sometimes the biggest risks create the biggest rewards and the angriest fans. Which one made you the most furious?